Where did the supreme wisdom's actual facts come from? What are the actual facts? The actual facts are a list of facts that can be found in the Supreme Wisdom. The Supreme Wisdom lessons were given by Master Fard Muhammad to the Nation of Islam between 1930 and 1934. The canonical Supreme Wisdom was answered by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the answers were considered very near correct by Master Farad Muhammad. The actual facts can be found in Part 2 of the Supreme Wisdom, and they contain facts on geography. Nation of Islam members are expected to memorize these facts. One of the facts that you can see at the beginning here is that the total land and water of the planet Earth is 196,940,000 square miles, etc. Elijah Muhammad wrote in Message of the Black Man, page 18, quote, He, meaning God, Master Fard Muhammad, began teaching us the knowledge of ourselves, of God and the devil, of the measurement of the earth, of other planets, and of the civilization of some of the planets other than Earth. He measured and weighed the earth and its water. So he's saying that the actual facts come from the experimentation and measurement of Master Farad Muhammad. Minister Louis Farrakhan would continue and he would say that Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 3, quote, He stood and measured the earth, is in reference to God, i.e., Master Farad Muhammad. This can be found in the Final Call article in the link that I've listed here. Louis Farrakhan also said in a lecture, quote, He gave us the measurement of our earth, the land and the water. He gave us the distance between the planets. Every time we look around, the white scientists are fixing their measurements, coming closer and closer to that which you know and have known since 1930 in this city of Detroit. You've been blessed, but you don't know your blessings. Can we all agree that there is no orator of the English language that's better than Minister Louis Farrakhan? You can find the link to the video here. Where do these figures come from? Were these figures known before 1930? Or did Master Farad Muhammad introduce them to the world? Here we have the World Almanac. The World Almanac is a popular reference book. It's been published every year since 1886, and it's a household name. It's been featured in many Hollywood movies, and it has been read by many US presidents. This book of facts actually has, and this is the 1928 version, the actual facts, as we can see. Quote on the left side, the superficial area of the Earth is 196,940,000 square miles, 139,685,000 square miles of water, and 57,255,000 square miles of land. If you look at the figures on the left and the figures on the right, you'll find that they are exactly the same. And this was published before Master Fard Muhammad came to Detroit and founded the Nation of Islam. So when you compare the two, you find that the actual facts actually come later than the Almanac, which has the exact same figures. There are other versions of the Almanac that have other figures. So, for example, in the 1923 edition of the Almanac, we find the same figures for the diameter of the Earth and the Earth's fertile regions. The facts appear to have been revised by the National Geographic Society of Washington, D.C., from the latest available figures and estimates. Again, not from God, but from this National Geographic Society. Master Farad Muhammad famously assigned the Honorable Elijah Muhammad 140 books, 104 books rather, in the Library of Congress. It turns out that the Almanac and Book of Facts can also be found in the Library of Congress, and it's been available in the Library of Congress since the 1920s. Someone might say, well, I can't find the weight of the Earth in the almanac. The actual fact says that the Earth weighs six sextillion tons. Sorry, that's a little bit difficult to say. So where is that fact? That's not in the almanac. That must come from Master Farad Muhammad. Again, if you look at Google Books and you just Google some of these numbers that appear in the actual facts, you do find books prior to 1930 which mention these exact same figures. So here you have Burroughs' Complete Works, Volume 10, page 227. This is John Burroughs, 1920, and it says weight of the Earth in terms of its own tons, something like 6 sextillion tons. But there are other facts that Master Fard Muhammad taught that never made it into the actual facts. Surely he must have actually measured those himself, right? So, for example, Supreme Minister John Mohammed said that he gave us, quote, he gave us a fact about it. Lightning cannot be heard over 15 miles. This can be found in Alam Khan Publications channel. The title of the video is Lightning, Authentic Plus Lesson by W.D. Farad, Rare Teaching. Problem is, you can find this fact as well. This is the book called Electricity, page 24 by W.H. McCormick, and it was published in 1915, and it says, quote, and it's referring to lightning, would be heard far and wide, but the greatest distance at which thunder has been heard is about 15 miles. Does this mean that Master Farad Muhammad stole the actual facts? Not necessarily. Number one, Master Farad Muhammad never claimed that he measured the earth himself. This is a claim that came after him. It comes from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and before him, Elijah Muhammad. Number two, Master Farad Muhammad frequently recommended resources. So here you have Bainon's famous article from 1938. The article is called, quote, The Voodoo Cult Among Negro Migrants in Detroit, page 900, and it says, quote, as additional proofs of his message, the Prophet, meaning Master Farad Muhammad, referred his followers to the writings of Judge Rutherford of Jehovah's Witnesses, to a miscellaneous collection of books on Freemasonry and its symbolism, and to some well-known works such as Breasted Conquest Civilization and Hendrik van Loon's Story of Mankind. Since many of these people were illiterate, it became necessary to organize classes in English so that they might be able to read the proofs about themselves. They were also instructed to purchase radios in order that they might listen to the addresses of Judge Rutherford, Frank Norris, and the Frank Norris, the Baptist fundamentalists, and others. The prophet explained to the people that the recommended books and addresses were symbolic and could be understood only through the interpretation which he himself would give at the temple services. The Quran itself was soon introduced as the most authoritative of all texts for all the study of the new faith. These are the two books that are mentioned in that article, The Story of Mankind by Hendrik van Loon on the left. You can see the cavemen, right? This should be familiar to everybody, those who are familiar with Master Farad's teachings on the white man and the caves and hillsides of Europe. And then on the right over here, you see James Henry Breasted's The Conquest of Civilization. It wasn't just these books that Master Farad would teach from. According to the Detroit Free Press 1932 November voodoo murder, so-called voodoo murder arrest, they quote a line that says something like, God is a liar. That quote actually comes right out of Deliverance by Judge Rutherford, and it's a misquote. They're trying to taint the image of Master Farad Muhammad as being someone that was anti-God, but it is a misquote. They're quoting it out of context. And we do know from Supreme Minister John Muhammad that yes, they were reading out of Deliverance, or rather the books of Judge Rutherford, the Jehovah's Witness. There are, of course, many parallels with the Jehovah's Witnesses in Master Farad Muhammad's teachings. And of course, we can see reference to Judge Rutherford in the Bainon 1938 article. That's all for today. So please, if you're interested in reading more, I'm going to put the link in the comments for my new book, W.D. Farad, The Man, Myth, and Mystery Behind the Nation of Islam, where you can find a lot more juicy facts, actual facts about Master Farad Muhammad. And I bid you all farewell. Assalamu alaikum.